Welcome. Hi, good morning. My name is Slavomir Dzidziula. I'm a technical systems engineer. I'm here from welcoming you from our customer briefing center in London. So this is actually our first technical session in our demo area. So I have the privilege to introduce our CBC to you. So this is where our systems can be studied, can be sampled, can be seen, can be touched. This is where the meaningful connections are happening. This is where you meet all the nice people like myself and other team members actually, so that will be also some of them presenting later. And in our system, actually on our CBC, we have pretty much most important solutions actually so available for you to test, more from the application perspective, so you can see obviously individual components, but I would invite you here to CBC to actually view our solutions. So in these sessions I will be focusing particularly on our adjustable rack in high density application. So this is the tremendous flexible rack with easy adjustability to meet the customer data room needs. It provides the adjustable depth. It's simple and fast to assemble. Provides the integrated grounding and bonding. Self-squaring helps with the assembly. I will touch on that a little bit later. And modular design, actually, so that can accommodate number of various accessories. I will mention them also a little bit later. So first thing, why adjustable? Okay, so why adjustable depth? So a lot of equipment comes with different sizes, or specifically in the depth. So this rack can cope with it with ease. So in addition, space optimization. So to optimize the space, designed or tailored specific to the equipment that is installed in the rack, as well as often customers facing issues with floor space. So this optimization or space optimization is the other element why adjustable. So this rack comes with number of depth. So it's starting with 23 inches, actually. Okay, so the adjustability starting with 23 inches and can be extended up to 42. I will rotate it, and please don't be misled by the rotating capabilities. So this is not the feature of this rack. So we put this on the platform just to demonstrate you a bit easier. Okay, so but obviously the rack needs to be fixed to the floor. So but if you can see actually, so the adjustability, so the markings you see here on the top, they are actually so indicating the most popular depths, which is 23, 30, 36, 42 inches. But additional adjustability is also possible in the range of half an inch if needed. Also, the fact that actually so it's adjusted rack means that fewer rack options are required, let's say, to consider or needs to be specified specifically during the identification of the solution from a customer perspective, but also from a distribution. Okay, so for the distributors, that means that actually less rack types need to be held in stock. That means actually so better service can be offered to customers. So from a lead times, quantity, stocked, and so on. Available options. So I mentioned already the adjustability in terms of the depth. Okay, so but this is the only adjustable dimension. The height comes or starts with 45 RU, and this is the one actually so I'm presenting. It comes also with 52 RU option. It comes in two colors. The one I'm presenting is black, but we have also option in white. So to match the other systems you may be using. Threaded holes from equipment rails. I mean, traditionally, all racks, or the most popular actually so option from the equipment rails are the threaded holes. We have also cage nuts. So this will depend on the preference on the customer. So these are the types other specifications that you will need to consider when you will select a particular rack. Load capacity, we're talking about 2,000 pounds, which is just above 900 kilograms of the load capacity. Delivery, the rack comes flat packed. Okay, so that means that you save on shipping cost, storage, and packaging. Assembly, well, it comes flat packed, so assembly will be required, but don't worry. The assembly time is about 7 minutes. I've done it. You can do even in a shorter time. 2 people are handling that very well, but it would be also possible to assemble it by the single person because the design is quite clever, actually. So self-squaring capabilities, and the self-squaring capabilities thanks to the construction. So we're using a PEM studs, carriage nuts, so which are helping with it. Grounding and bonding. Well, we have a couple of options. So this is integrated solution, actually. So and the grounding and bonding, all the elements actually so are bonded thanks to the paint piercing nuts actually so used when assembled. But for the single earth bonding, there are 8 options actually so to use. There is a double hole plug actually so available in the top in each post actually. So it's around this location on each post. So we have 8 locations that you can use to bond to the telecommunication earth. Also from assembly perspective actually so the frames are fully assembled. So there is flat packed as mentioned, but the end of row frames or frames are assembled or actually so in fact are welded. So the only thing you need to put together are the brackets. So there is a front bracket and the rear bracket attached to the frame, and there is a one connecting or so-called bridge bracket that needs to be fitted in here. So, and this is where the adjustability happens around the bridge bracket. So this is pretty much all about the rack itself, but the fact that I mentioned the modular design that can accommodate a number of accessories and keeping in mind the high density, there is a number of accessories this rack can accommodate. So the first accessory I would like to mention is the vertical tie-off bracket, so-called tie-off bracket, that will handle a lot of cables or incoming cables particularly. I mean, it's the best suited for the incoming cables. It comes with a number of options actually, so where you can attach additional D-rings, for instance. You can use hook and loops, cable ties, so there is locations actually so where you could plug it in and fix the cables. And just to give you an idea, the single tie-off bracket can handle roughly around 300 or 290 varimatrix copper cables. Okay, so now if you keep in mind the high density, if you use the depth of 36 inches or more, you could actually fit 2 such tie-off brackets on one side. And don't forget you have a second side where you can fit those tie-off brackets. So there's a lot of capacity for cables. So keep in mind high density applications. So in addition, vertical cable managers. So some of you may be familiar with it already, but when tie-off brackets is perfectly suited for the incoming cable, this is good for patching cable, horizontal cables also. And this comes also in different sizes. It's fixed to the rack by single person, or can be fixed by a single person. Comes with different widths again, so depending on the density requirement or capacity requirements, starting with 6 inches and goes up to 12 inches. It's very flexible. It comes actually so fully assembled. So when we're talking about the assembly time, it takes just few minutes. Okay, so I don't want to exaggerate, so it doesn't take seconds, but it takes just few minutes really. So just to fix those three screws provided, and they have dual open doors, so you can open it from the left or from the right for easier access and easier management. The doors can be also removed, so if you are installing the patch runner, it will be probably the preferred option. But one of the features is this kind of push and close the door. So if you open, obviously you can engage the lock, but if you're closing it, it's just pushing it, so it's enough. So, and the door is locked. So if you want to remove the doors, you can do that quite easily. And you can work with your cabling. When you're done, you can attach the cables also. So it will come with fitted cable management fingers. So that will protect the cables, so they provide the correct bend radius. They will have also a number of options where you can fit, again, so hook and loop cable ties, additional D-rings if needed. And in this application, we're using tie of brackets, so single-sided vertical patch runner is ideal. But in other applications, you may have an extended version with extra space on the back, so with two doors, front and rear, with cable management fingers also attached in the front and in the rear. Okay, so again, all depends on the capacity required. So again, so I will fit the door back in. You see how easy and safe that is. And again, for assembly, from assembly perspective, this is a floor standing frame. So when you are assembling it, actually, so you can position, stand up, straight up, and finger tight the nuts and fix it. I mean, fit it actually, so, or fix it with the wrench actually. So now, the good thing about assembly in general is that all the screw sizes are same. So therefore, the time, the assembly time can be significantly reduced just by using single tool, really, so to do that. Now, additional accessories actually, so you can use with it are, we don't have it actually so here on the display, but if you imagine in this application, we have two vertical patch runners, and if there is a need to run the cables from left side to the right side without encroaching the 19-inch space in here, because this is important critical equipment installed, we can use also a waterfall tray that is installed on top of the rack, and you can run safely cables overhead to the other patch runners. Another accessories are, for instance, PDU brackets. And yes, the rack can be also used for active equipment, not just the patching. So you can have a switches, servers, storage devices, and you can handle those amount of cables, obviously, quite comfortably. But obviously, the active equipment will require a power distribution unit. So the power distribution units, when they're fitted, they should not encroach into the 19-inch space, because this space usually is reserved. But then obviously there is a couple of options. So we have clearly power distribution units of 19-inch that can be installed without additional brackets, and they will fit in space also comfortably. But if you want to take off, and we call it a 0U installation, so the rack U space is not consumed, you use those brackets. And again, so depending on the equipment, the space required, you can install the PDUs quite comfortably using the mounting buttons and position the PDUs different positions. And you can position them also side by side if required. And you see it actually, so it's safe, so there's no additional tool required. So, and you can run the power cords wherever the equipment is installed. Additional options we have, specifically from a grounding and bonding perspective, are, for instance, grounding strips, which go alongside one of the e-rails, so we don't have them in a display. As an example, I have installed here horizontal grounding bar, and this is also used to bond or ground the active equipment you may have installed in the space. Okay, so additional things again. So when we're talking about the high density and specifically cable management, it's obviously important. And excuse the noise. What is important, obviously, to protect the cable? So horizontal cable manager. So this is the vertical cable organizer or vertical cable manager, but we have also a number of options from a horizontal cable management perspective. So this is one of them. We have also new family of those horizontal cable managers with magnetic locks. But obviously this helps you to run the cables and direct the cables directly to patch panels, live equipment, wherever needed safely, so that actually the cable is well protected. It's also coming with those management fingers that protect the bend radius. And that would be probably it. So don't forget, obviously, depending on the cooling in your rooms, about any blankings. So if it's our shade or individual blanking panels, okay, so make sure the airflow is well managed. And that's demonstration of the adjustable 4-post rack. So thank you very much. I would encourage you to ask questions our experts actually on the chat, or please get in touch with us, visit our CBCs, and I will see you in the next sessions. And we have 2 questions coming in. I'm sorry. So I mentioned the rack need to be fixed to the floor. So the question was how to fix it. So let me show you the options here. So I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this. So, but in general, when you look at the frame, specifically here where the frame is, there are dedicated holes actually. So when you can fit the anchors actually. So, and we provide 2 kits depending on the floor types. And this is the locations where actually you fix the rack to the floor. And we have 2 types for rice floor and concrete floor. And the other question was about overhead cable management. It's also possible, and again, so there is a number of holes and options available to fit any kind of ladders, any pathways, which you can fix quite comfortably. And this is all basically around. So this is basically the modularity of the rack. So that would be it. I will rotate the rack back for you. You can have a last peek. And thank you very much.